and welcome to my vlog, Crafting with Shuttermonkey. I'm Amanda, also known as Shuttermonkey, and I live in Yorkshire in the west coast of Scotland with my husband, my daughter and my cat. Now, one person I've never mentioned before in my vlogs is my son, and that's because up until a couple of weeks ago I hadn't seen him for quite a few years. But 2 weeks ago, thanks to my daughter and my daughter-in-law, we all met up with one another. So it's the first time we've seen each other in quite some time. So as you can imagine, it's been all very emotional the past couple of weeks. We got to meet him and his partner, girlfriend, and their 2 wee boys as well. I haven't seen one of my grandsons since he was 7 months old, and the other wee one I had never met before at all. So some happy news for once, eh? After everything that's been going on in the world. But as you can imagine, it's been a bit of a roller coaster the past couple of weeks. So if I start bursting into tears because something looks really pretty, you'll understand why, okay? Anyway, other places that you can find me online are Ravelry. I'm Shuttermonkey Designs on there. And Love Crafts too, I'm Shuttermonkey Designs. That's where I sell all my knitting and crochet patterns. You can also find me on Etsy. I have a wee shop over there where sometimes I sell some handmade goods. And I'm also on PayHip. That's where you'd find any patterns or anything that you need to download for fabric requirements or anything like that. And the other place that you'll probably find me is Instagram. I'm Wee Shuttermonkey over there. That's my personal page. Now, I did actually have a couple of business pages on Instagram. I had Crafting with Shuttermonkey and I had Shuttermonkey Designs, but I've deleted both of those. Sometimes if people were tagging me on the other pages, I wasn't seeing their comments or I wasn't seeing DMs for a few days and I felt kind of bad about it. I don't check all my profiles as often as I should, so it sometimes feels like I'm being a wee bit rude, and I'm not. I just don't have notifications or anything switched on, and I'm not always on my phone all the time, so sometimes I miss things and I don't mean to. So I just thought, make life a wee bit easier on yourself and start streamlining some things. So I think I've deleted one Facebook page as well, and there's maybe another one I might just get rid of, because if you're not on them and you're not using them, there's no point in them being there, isn't there? Because people are just getting confused the best way to contact you. And if they're maybe contacting through a page that I'm not checking, it's not really fair on other people as well, is it? Right. Anyway, I haven't videoed for about 5 weeks. And see, to be honest with you, for about 4 weeks, I don't really feel like I've got much done. I feel like I've been flitting all over the place like a butterfly, doing lots, but not actually getting much done. So I decided at the beginning of this week, I would make a video today. Oh, today's Friday. It's Friday the 9th of July. I meant to do this earlier in the day, but I forgot to charge my camera battery. So I've been waiting all day for a battery to charge. I decided at the beginning of this week that I would video on Friday. So set myself a goal every day, let's get something done. Because I had nothing finished to show you from 5 weeks ago. And I managed to get lots done. I finished my crochet dolly on Monday. I finished my gravity quilt on Tuesday. I finished my She Blinded Me with Science socks on Wednesday. I finished knitting hexagons yesterday. I got my basting done for my little hexagons for a Christmas stocking yesterday as well. And what else did I do yesterday? There was something else, but I'll remember as I come to it. So anyway, I don't have much new stuff to show you, but I do have finished stuff to show you that hopefully after today you're not going to get bored with again. You're not going to be seeing again. So we'll move on to the knitting section first, okay? And I'm going to start with the socks. Now, I know you've seen these ones already. This is my Spring Garden socks, and they're currently being test knitted just now. But the reason I'm showing you them again is because I finished the 2 shorty pairs that I was working on, and I can't remember if I showed you them last time. I think I was still working on them. And I was definitely working on these ones. I know I was. So these are the first shorty ones. And the plan is, when I publish this pattern here, there's going to be 2 versions to do shorty socks. Now I know that most experienced knitters can probably convert a pattern and they can work shorty socks themselves. But I thought we'd just do this anyway, because some people can't do that. And even from the current test knitters that I've got just now, the problems that are coming up, you can see that even though you knit a lot of socks, maybe even just if you change from doing cuff down socks and start doing toe up socks, it just throws everything out for you, and some knitters are really having to think about it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to definitely put the 2 other patterns in. So these ones here are the first shorty socks. And as you can see, there's quite a few colours in here. So I've used a 20-gram mini skein for the heel. No, I've used a 20-gram mini skein for the toe and the cuff. And I used a little bit of leftover from the main socks here. And then I've used 2 20-gram skeins in here. And I'll go over the colours in a wee minute. And this is the second pair of shorty socks. Now, as you can see, they've not got the flowers on the top, the little flower bud pattern. They've got the lattice on the top that's the same as the back of these ones. And it's just to show you that even just that wee pattern that's down the back of the main sock looks nice in the front of a shorty. Now, all these colours are, this one, they're all by Glendale Fibres. So this one's called Sage, that colourway is Sage, and they're all on our soft sock base as well. There's only one that's got a bit of sparkle through it, but it's only because I couldn't get a colour that I wanted without the sparkle. So this is Sage, and I've used about 20 grams left over. I've used about 80 grams for my socks. My socks are only a size 6. I've got quite small feet, actually, compared to my height. So it's about 80 grams I've used for these. And then when I knitted these ones here, this is a 20-gram mini skein. Now this was just a one-of-a-kind shade on the Glendale Fibres website. It didn't have a proper colourway, it was just called one-of-a-kind. And it was a wee 20-gram mini, and it does have a bit of sparkle through it. And the green here, I had one 20-gram Sage for one sock, and I used the leftovers from the main socks for the other one. I actually had to rip out my test swatches so I could knit the second sock. It's surprising how much yarn swatches use up, but usually what I do, I'll go over that when I go on my next socks, right, and I'll tell you how I do that. But anyway, that's the colourways for this one, and that's shorty 2. And this one, this was Valentine. The heel and the toe are used, it's the Valentine colourway. A tiny wee bit that's on the heels. It's only 2 grams you use for the heels. Well, it's only 2 grams I had to use for mine's. And then again, this multicolour bit in the middle is called, it was just a one-of-a-kind. I don't know why they call it one-of-a-kind. I guess they just experiment with colours and something comes out, or maybe a colourway comes out they weren't expecting. If they were going to dye a specific colour in mind, I mean. And they just call it one-of-a-kind. But I really liked that, and I thought it was nice with the Sage colourway and that pink. And I had them in my stash for a wee while. And the 20-gram mini in the green that I had, that's how I knew it would work great in the main socks. And I asked for a full skein. I do love that colourway. Anyway, that's going to be coming out soon. That's away to test knitters just now. They're supposed to be finishing up in the middle of July. So I'll get all the information. Everybody's sending me information every day. Anything that they've found wrong or a wee error or something they think needs reworded. So I'll get that all put together. And hopefully have the pattern published a week later. So I'm looking at maybe like the 21st, 22nd of July for this pattern. Okay, I'm going to put this away now because I think you've probably heard enough about these socks. You saw them last time too, didn't you? Just pop them over there out the way. Other socks that I've been working on, these ones here. These ones are in my little, it's got a see-through base, this bag. And this is Fairy Nights, this fabric's called. It's by Lewis and Irene. It's quite nice because it glows in the dark. I've actually got one of these bags in pink as well because I made 2 of them. But it's toadstools and fairies. It's on the front rather than the wee treat houses. And this is my She Blinded Me with Sign socks. So these are for my daughter. Right, I'll just pop these onto a sock blocker so you can see them better. Actually, I'll put this one on the sock blocker because that one's got pins in. Now, I started these socks last April. They're not a complicated knit, there's lots of cables in them. The rows change from row to row, so no 2 rows are the same, but they're not complicated. If you just follow the pattern, mark off each row as you come to it, it's easy enough to do. But I only knitted the cuff and the leg, and then I stopped and put them away. So I decided to look them out and knit them for my Rainbow Sock Chronicles colourway for June, which was kind of turquoisey blue, but these ones are actually quite blue, aren't they? Anyway, they're done now. I only finished them on Wednesday, so I was late finishing them again. But these socks are She Blinded Me with Science, and I really do like them. I really love them. These are for my daughter, she's going to get these. And I'm going to tell you a wee bit more about, it's actually based on, there's 4 different parts to the sock, and it's based on 4 different scientists, female scientists. So I'm going to tell you a wee bit about each one, and I'll try and show you the bit of the sock pattern. If I can hold it on my hand maybe. So the first bit is the cuff. I haven't sewn in my ends because I never do that till I block them, and I'll block them once I've finished here today. So the cuff part was actually named after, where is she? Dorothy Hodgkin. She's a British chemist who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. She was influential, her work was influential in understanding the structures of penicillin, vitamin B and insulin. She was also born in Cairo, which I thought was quite interesting because I quite like Egyptian stuff. So that's who the cuff is based on. And then we have part 2. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, so you can go download this from Ravelry. And it's got lots of instructions and charts. They're all the charts are there as well. I'll show you the next chart because it's more complicated. There's the next chart there for part 2. See, when I print patterns off, I normally print two pages on a sheet A4. But for this one, I did actually go back and print the DNE chart full size, just so it was easier to read because it's quite a lot of information on there. So see if I can pop this bit on my hand because you can't really see it on the sock blocker. Right, here we go. And here's the leg here. So it's a DNA strand. And this part of the pattern was based on Rosalind Franklin. She was an English chemist. Now her work was central to understanding the molecular structure of DNA and RNA. So that's why that's in there. It's a DNA double helix pattern that's down there, and it's also down the back as well. So you do it twice, you repeat it down once in the front and once on the back. And then when you move on to the gusset decreases, as gusset decreases, it's cuff down. The next part is Hertha Ayrton, and she's a British mathematician, engineer, physicist and inventor. She won a Hughes Medal by the Royal Society for studying electric arcing, and she also studies ripple patterns in sand and water. And this is where this clue is inspired from. So that sees this wee bit here. It's the ripple pattern in sand and water. And then the last bit up here, before you on the foot, is based on the work by Rachel Carson. And she's an American marine biologist. And this section of the sock has got a jellyfish in honour of Rachel's work to help inspire wonder in aquatic life. So that's why you can see the wee jellyfish here. Those wee stitch markers there, you actually repeat these wee tendril bits from the jellyfish. You repeat that a certain number of times until your foot's long enough, and then you move on to the top of the jellyfish. But I really enjoyed that part there. I only had to do 2 repeats for it to fit my daughter because she's only a size 6, the same as me. I will take those wee stitch markers out. But it's been a really interesting pattern to work on. But as I say, you do have to concentrate. And that was the only downfall, but it's not that difficult. So there we go. Oh, I've got a wee hole in there. I need to sort that. A wee hole at my gusset decreases. These socks were actually knitted using Lorna Laces yarn. This was an American, a swap with an American knitter. So that came over from America quite a few years ago. And this one was actually knitted on 2.25s. So I knitted those in my Knit Pro Zings. And it was quite nice knitting on a different colour needle, because they're usually yellow when you use Knit Pro Zings for socks. The pattern actually says to use 225s. The pattern actually says to use the 2.5s, and I stuck with those because there's a lot of cabling in those socks, and that usually tightens up your socks a wee bit. So I went with the bigger needles like the pattern said, and it's fine. So let me just pop all this out of the way. So I need to get those blocked, and then I can pass them on to Chloe, get photos and update my Ravelry page as well. I've been trying to do that recently, as well as streamlining other social media accounts. The ones that I'm keeping, I'm thinking you should actually get your project pages updated and things like that. But I'll get these blocked and they can go off to Chloe. So I'm going to pop these down here out the way. Hope they don't fall over. Oh, maybe I should have brought Kevin over. He can have a holiday today, right? He can just dance away in the corner. So The other socks that I've been working on, and I haven't touched these since the middle of June, which is terrible. They're living in my little panda bag by Aneela Hoey. It's my 2 at a time socks. And I've only got 10 rounds to do in the leg and then the cuff, and they'll be done. But I don't really know why I stopped doing them. I was doing it an hour a day and quite enjoying it actually. These are the Licker needles, and they've got a longer needle length, and I'm really enjoying working with them. And once you get a bit of weight on your socks at the bottom, they knit up quite well. They knit up quite fast. I'm actually managing to pull them nice and tight. It's more so these 2 bits here in between the 2 socks I found them a wee bit loose, so I'm having to make sure I pull that nice and tight. But apart from that, all is going well. The only thing I didn't like was the yarn that I'm using, which I don't like saying because I normally really like this yarn. But the heel, the toe and the cuff, I'm using a contrast colour. It's this one here. It's the Juniper colourway by West Yorkshire Spinners. And you'll probably see here, see this wee bit here that's all raggy and all chewed up? I'm getting that every 2 or 3 grams in the yarn. So both of my toes have got a join, both of my heels have got a join, and there's another bit there. And then I thought, do you know what, it's maybe just the inside of the ball, but I can already see a bit there in the outside as well. So I think these flaws in this are all the way through this ball, which I'm not very happy with. The thing is, see if this was your first ball of yarn, it would maybe if it was your first ball of yarn, it would maybe put you off of buying from that company again, wouldn't it? And then I thought, right, okay, it's fine. It's just that contrast colour. I'll just need to start winding it off, maybe wind it off into 5 gram chunks, try and find bits of yarn for toes and for heels, cuffs, so I'm not having to keep joining yarn once I'm knitting. But then I was knitting away on them, and I came across a raggy bit on my main colourway. This is the Silent Night, and you can see I've got a wee bit there that's splitting that. And that I actually just put a wee knot in it, tied it and carried on knitting, and I thought I'll sew those ends in later on. I'll cut it and sew it in once I'm finished. But I think that was the final straw weight, and I thought, right, I've had enough. Fed up with all these joins in this yarn. But they are nice and I do need to get them finished. I'm good at making excuses, aren't I? Just need to get them done. So anyway, that's those ones. And I've only got one more pair of socks to show you. Just pop that down out the way. It's not actually a pair of socks, it's plans for a pair of socks. This is going to be my next sock design. And I'm going to use this colourway here. It's a wee bit untidy. I've been knitting from one end. See, that's what I was going to tell you. When I knit swatches, got a couple of wee swatches here. When I knit my swatches, I usually knit from the outside of the ball because I like to knit from the inside. Normally when I knit a garment or I knit socks or whatever I'm knitting, I knit from the inside. So if I knit swatches, I knit from the outside, and that means if you get to the end of the ball of yarn and you need more wool, you just unravel your swatches. You can maybe wrap them around a jar with hot water, straighten them back out, and they're still attached. You don't have to join them. You don't have to sew in ends. It's just, if you need them, they're there and they're still attached. So I normally do that. And if I want to block a swatch, I'll still block it attached to the outside of the ball. So these are going to be my next sock design. I'll no bother showing you my swatches because they're both a bit untidy. I didn't like my first one, so I started a second one and I fixed the bottom bit. But they're going to be a Paris themed sock. I'm dreaming of trips to Paris and... just wind that up a wee bit, sorry. Carried away with my winding and away in my daydream. So this yarn is called Up, Up and Away, and it's by Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns. First time I've used their yarn, and I really like this colourway. So this will be my July Rainbow Chronicle socks. I just have to write the pattern up. I'm going to write the pattern up before I knit it, so do that first. And I thought I'll concentrate on finishing those She Blinded Me with Science socks before I move on to something else, because I feel like I'm all over the place and getting nothing finished. That's how I end up with so many whips. So next time I come along, I'm going to try and do another video in maybe 2 weeks' time. So next time I come along, I'll hopefully have some of those socks to show you. But I looked out this wee bag and I thought I'm going to keep them in this bag, I think. Can you guess who designed this bag pattern? Yeah, you guessed right. It's Aneela. This is one of Aneela's patterns, and I thought, I wonder if I can get my socks to fit in there. And the good thing about this box is you open it up and it's flat. It sits flat. And I think I'm going to be able to get that inside. Because I thought even if I couldn't, I could wind it into 2 smaller balls, still keep them attached to one another. And then, but it's going to fit in okay, look. I can still get it closed with a full skein of sock yarn in there. And I've got a nice little matching needle cosy as well, so that'll be nice to go along with my Paris theme socks. So I'll show you more of those next time rather than boring you with it just now, and then you see them halfway through, and then you see them when they're finished, and then you see them when I'm going to release the pattern. So I'm going to actually tuck them in this wee bag, and then I know where everything is when I'm ready to start. What is this one called? Oh, wait now to find out for you. There we go. It's the zip up tray pouch, and that's on Aneela's Pay-Hip store. If that's something you're interested in making, you can download that as a PDF, or if you look online for it, the zip up tray pouch by Aneela Hoey, you'll find a paper version if you prefer paper versions as well. So I'll move that over there. I don't need that. Let's get you out of the way. And I've only got a couple more things to show you knitting wise. My hexagons for my Polygon blanket. So I just get these finished yesterday. I need to sew these together for my June part of my blanket. I'm going to have to wash these 2. These ones are all okay, but these 2 squares here, the turquoise, it left quite a bit of dye on my hands. So before I put it together, I'm just going to give them a wash because I don't want it to run. It was just one ball, but the one ball of turquoise is in here. And I've also mixed it with a kind of goldy greeny one to give me that colour. So I'll just give them a wee soak and then give them a rinse, let them dry before I sew them all up. So see, it was just that one, just the stronger blue. But they're all 14 are there, and I'll get those put into my blanket. Show you that next time. And the only last knitting thing, no, I've got one other project I'm planning. Just a wee dishcloth. Just one of the wee dishcloth a month. Again, for my daughter, for her hedgehogs. So I'll give this to her. I haven't bothered washing and blocking this one. I'll just give it. Hedgehogs don't mind if things aren't blocked. They're just going to walk all over it and wipe their feet on it anyway. So there we go. I think that was Bloom Where You Grow, this one was called. So that's one of those little dishcloths. And the only other thing I've got to show you knitting wise is knitting plans. Something that I would like to start knitting. It's... Do you know what, I've got the pattern printed off here, but I didn't print the front cover off, so I'll show you a wee picture here. I should leave this open, shouldn't I? It saves me dropping it. Right, I do have a wee image of it, if I can figure out how to work a tablet. There we go. That wee jumper there. It's by Avec Anna. Now this is available on Ravelry, and it's also on the Avec Anna website, and it's called Brest. And it's just a wee cotton merino blend jumper with stripes. And there's a wee picture of it from the back as well. But I thought that was quite nice. Now I didn't buy the yarn that was recommended in the pattern. I've actually gone for some drops yarn. And it's all in here. So I'm going to go with this creamy, this off-white colour for my main colour, and then the 4 coloured stripes. I've got some blue, green, pink and yellow. So I haven't swatched yet, so I'm going to do that when I'm finished here today. And I'll see how that's looking. But I got all that yarn in there. I think there's 9 balls in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 9 balls, and it was £30 and it was free shipping. And see, when you think about it, see if you buy a skein of hand-dyed yarn for your socks, and they're all lovely. But I've been buying a couple of club memberships this year, and the yarn itself is maybe £20 or £22, and then by the time you pay shipping, and I thought I've practically got a jumper's worth for the same price. And I've knitted with drops yarn before to knit jumpers, and it turns out lovely. It's really nice. So I'm going to swatch for that, and hopefully next time I'll have started it and you'll be able to see that. I think I would call her Anna, but maybe her name's not Anna, because maybe that's one of her daughter's names. But I know she's running a make along and outside. You sit outside, knit out, you knit outside and knit outside. I knit along outside, I think that's what I'm trying to say. But I might even do that. Only knit this one when I can sit in the garden, even just for an hour a day. No belonging coming along, won't it? Right, that is me showing you all the knitting stuff I've got to show you today. Oh, I could show you my cardigan. No. This is an old knit. I knitted this years ago. I think it was 2015 I finished this. But this is the Brocade cardigan by Martin Storey. I don't think I've ever worn a hand knit when I've been on here videoing, have I? I really should sort that. And the only reason I'm wearing this one today is because I've lost a bit of weight and it actually fits me. It's getting a wee bit of nice detail down the sleeves here. And the only thing I changed about this pattern was down there was supposed to be baubles at the edge of this. And they weren't neat and tidy, so I don't like it if my baubles are all untidy and messy looking. I like them to be uniform and neat looking. So untidy baubles, they get heave-hoed. But apart from that, it's knitted as it's supposed to be in the pattern. But I think I told you before I had signed up for Weight Watchers. So I've managed to lose a stone already. I'm quite pleased with that. So hopefully I'll get to show off a wee bit more of my knitwear that's in my cupboard, because I've got loads and loads of it. So quite like this one. It's actually in the Rowan Alpaca book, Rowan Classic Alpaca. I think it's book 13. And it's knitted with the alpaca yarn as well. I used to be quite a fan of alpaca. But, so there we go. Definitely finished all the knitting stuff I've got to show you now. And I'll go and look out my crochet stuff. Right. I'm all swapped about, and now I'm ready to move on to the crochet section. Here we go. Finished my Toft dolly, my princess doll. And I love her. She's sat since the last time I videoed. I hadn't touched her, and then finally on Monday I thought I need to get this hair finished. She only had 10 strands of hair to be done. I'm just trying to get this wee standoff, get that out of the way. I should have done that before I started. But there she is. She's got a wee dress on. She's a proper princess now, and she's got all her curls and her crown's on as too. The crown is actually made with a gold yarn from Toft. This was a limited edition a couple of years ago from their advent calendar, and I had some left over, so that's why her crown's gold. In the original pattern, she's supposed to just have a wee headdress type. Where's her head? Need to find the right head. Oh, it doesn't even show you on here. She's supposed to just have a wee headband type tiara, but I thought because she's got bigger hair, I thought I would give her a bigger tiara as well. So I used one of the tiaras that came with the Snow Queen pattern, and she's actually quite Lady Liberty, isn't she? She's channeling her inner Statue of Liberty here. Didn't mean that. She just looked like that when I put the crown on, and I thought, ooh, makes me like it even more now. And I love her hair. Should get my hair done like that. But there you go. That's her. All finished. You won't see her again. Stop showing her off to you now. Tell you, I'm going to put her back on her stand because I don't want her to fall over and squash all her hair or land in her face. And so just pop her back in her wee stand. Don't want to tangle her hair up either. And as I said before, that's from the Dolls Emporium book by Toft. That's where that pattern came from, okay? The only other thing I've crocheted on since I last spoke to you is this. It's the Little Workroom Crafts first pattern by Davina. And I love it. I really love it. I've made these in patchwork version, but it never ever crossed my mind to do a crochet version, and I really like it. She's a clever cookie, isn't she, that Davina? So, been working my way through this. I've not got much done. I've started working on my triangles. Got a wee bundle of those, and it's just, I went along to I've got a factory shop along the road in Stewarton. So I just bought some green acrylic, and I bought a black sparkly one too. Can you see the ball band there? And that's just what I'm going to use to make mine. So I've got some of my triangles done and I've edged one of them, and if you fold it all in, if you fold all those edges in, it'll end up looking like that. So it'll just be green trimmed with the sparkly black. Don't know how well you can actually see that. Maybe I should have pinned it for you. But it'll just have the wee black trim in the middle, whereas the Venus is green with the red. Mine's is going to be green with the black. But I'll have that finished for next time. Now that my doll's finished, I'm going to just work on this one. I'm going to try and stick to I'm going to try and stick to just one item at a time rather than flitting about all over the place, because I'm not getting anything finished. And it's kind of driving me nuts, to be honest. So work on this until this is done. And then, because it is Christmas in July, isn't it? And, one other crochet thing to show you is sitting in my lap and I almost forgotten about it. Do you remember this top that I made last year? Well, I haven't sewn in those ends yet. So I think what I'm going to do, Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, she encourages you to do something for 30 minutes a day that you don't want to do, which is great. Because it's surprising how much you can get done in 30 minutes, especially over an hour, especially over a month. So I'm going to start sewing in all these wee ends in, and I'm going to see how long it takes me just doing 30 minutes a day. And you never know, maybe I'll get it done and we'll have some nice weather and I can actually wear it. I know it's supposed to be summer here. I don't think the weather knows that, actually. To be honest with you, we've had the best day actually up here. I think England's been getting worse weather than us, which is surprising because normally we get it wetter up here. Especially in the west coast, we get a lot of rain here. So there we go. Try and get this finished. And then maybe I can wear it once or twice before winter sets back in. Righty-ho. That is all the crochet stuff I've got to show you. And I'm going to go get my patchwork stuff, okay? Right, that's me all swapped about. And I'm ready to move on to the patchwork and quilting section. There's just no way I'm going to be able to show you all of this in a video. But it's finished. It's all done. And it's ready to go off and be quilted. So I'm going to have to get my research done and find somebody to do it. I'm hoping there's a lady in Glasgow that can do it. And then I could drop it off and pick it up rather than posting it. But maybe I should try and get my daughter and my husband to hold it outside. And I can make a wee video outside and add it in. Couldn't I? Even if I don't get it in this time, I could show you next time. But it's beautiful. It really is. But there's just no way I'm going to be able to show you all. You saw the mess I got in last time trying to show you half of it. Never mind a full quilt. But it is all done. And I will try and get a wee video so I can show you at some point it all finished. But I started working on the pillowcases. When I was making the full-size quilt, everything that I cut out full size. And then I also cut out, from the same fabric, I cut out the little half-size bits so I could do the smaller version of this. But it was supposed to be for pillowcases. I like matching pillowcases on my bed. I like my pillowcases to match my quilts. But I'm going to show you, I've only got half of this, the little one done, okay? I hope you saw all of that because I can't see what you can see. But that's going to be too big for pillowcases, isn't it? I thought that maybe I could chop it down, and if I lost quite a bit of the grey, it would be okay because it's even along the bottom. I would need to put a black border along that bottom bit because you're going to lose a lot of the colour when you make your folds to fold under for your pillowcase, and I don't want to lose this bit at the bottom. So I would need to put a black border along it, which is fine because I've got a lot of black left. I've still got quite a bit of the black fabric left. But the only problem I've had is I can't finish the bottom half. I don't have enough. You see this grey here, it's called steel. It's a Kona cotton steel, and I've run out of that to finish it. Now remember, it was a kit to make the full size bed quilt, so this has all been extra. Doing all this is extra. And you're not supposed to do that with the kit, it's just I'm making extra. But as I say, it's the only bit that I've run out of. So I've ordered a wee fat quarter of the steel just so I can get 10 diamonds and finish that bottom half. But it's going to be too big for pillowcases. And I thought, what am I going to do with it? Because it's stunning. Even the smaller size version is really pretty. So my initial idea was it can be a lap quilt. We'll just use it in the living room or whatever. Or we can hang it up somewhere as a wall hanging. So I said to my husband, what am I going to do with this? And his first words were, hang it in the hall, hang it in the hall. Yeah, put it in the hallway. So having one on a big huge one on the bed and having one in the hall doesn't seem to bother either of the two of us. I wonder if I could hang it outside. Do you know like they do in America? They've got the big quilts hanging outside. Maybe I could hang it in my garage, let all my neighbours see it, show it off. Too much rain here, you couldn't do that. Anyway, so that's a smaller size version, and I've just to work on finishing this, but it's really cute, isn't it? Even the small one, and it's a good size. It is a good size if you wanted it on your couch, just as a lap quilt. But I think these blocks here were supposed to be 12.5 inches high on the big one, but when I cut everything and they finished, these ones were 6.5 inches high, so it's an exact replica of the big one, but in miniature, just half the size. And I was quite pleased that I got as much as I did from the fabric that I got in my kit. So it's not bad that I only have to buy one fat quarter. So I'm really, really pleased with that. And the other thing that I've been sewing on is lots of little hexagons. Now, I've got these clipped up into order. I've got to start sewing them together. And I'm kind of worried about unclipping them. You wouldn't believe how long it took me to organise a bunch of hexagons this morning. I was about an hour and a half. I overthink everything. But they're all in there. It's for the Molly and Mama. What have I done with the... Where have I thrown it? Ha! Excuse me for leaning in. It's for the Molly and Mama Night Before Christmas stocking. And I'm just going to show you a wee picture in case you haven't seen it. There we go. That's it there. It's a hexagon stocking and it's actually got a little mouse on the front. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to bother putting the wee mouse on the front. Not because there's anything wrong with the wee mouse, it's just I don't want to cover up my fabric. So you put all your hexagons together, then you'll make a stocking. There's a couple of different versions of it there. And then you sew this pocket onto the front and you sit the wee mouse inside. Now the wee mouse is lovely, she's really, really cute. But I just don't want to cover up any of my fabric. I'm using the Aneela Hoey Cherry Christmas fabric, which I love. It's my favourite Christmas fabric ever. So I don't know whether to make the back with the pocket. So if you turn it around the back, the wee pocket's on there. Or just make the wee mouse and it can hang in your tree, couldn't it? It doesn't have to be on your stocking because the wee mouse is really nice. But there's some really cute fabrics in here. There's a wee teapot. And then you've got holly as well, and wee robins, wee birds, more holly. I'm trying to see if there's anything a wee bit more interesting. Oh, snow globes. Snow globes. Washing lines with Christmas washing hanging outside. And then there's some presents as well. Where's the presents? There they are. But I laid them all out on the kitchen, on the worktop, and laid them all out where I wanted the colours to go. But then I kept looking at them and you would have, like, as I was looking at them, you'd maybe have these bubbles, these baubles together, these circles. Or you'd have two presents together, or you'd have two washing lines together. And I got the colours where I wanted them, but the pattern repeats were the same and next to one another. And I spent so long trying to rearrange them and organise them and taking more photos. And right, that's the way I want it to be. I really don't want to take these clips off because I'll get myself into such a mess. And I've got photos, but it's me. I can still get into a mess, can't I? The only other piece of sewing that I've got to show you today is this quilt here. And this quilt means that my classes are starting back up. The community centre in Prestwick has opened back up and I can go back in and teach my patchwork and quilting classes. I'm so looking forward to it. I just didn't know if it was going to open again this year, so I'll just show you a wee bit of this. this is what we're going to be making. It's a medallion quilt. I wonder if I don't even know what you'll see if I stand up because it's quite big. So it starts here in the centre. See if I can peek round so I know what I'm showing you. So it starts here in the centre, and then you've got a round going round the outside of that. It's got some flying geese and it's got a flower on it. And then there's another round. So the next round is this one, from the flower to the flower. And that's the same around all four sides. And then the outer layer is these bigger 8-inch blocks. Now I made this quilt before COVID hit, before the pandemic, and I was supposed to quilt it up last summer so it was ready for classes starting last September. And as you can see, as you can see, it's still just a quilt top. So I need to get this quilted up now and ready for classes starting in September. I'm so excited. I emailed all the ladies that had said they wanted to come back. I've emailed all of them and told them the classes are starting again. So there's only a couple that aren't keen to come back, and I can understand that. But most of them are happy. So now I have to contact all the other ladies that hadn't said they were coming back, because I know some of them do want to come back. So that's the next step, emailing everybody else. But this is what we're making. This one was great. I just had lots of square paper out with this, and I knew the size I wanted the centre block to be. And then these ones here, the second row is 6-inch blocks. Then we've got 8-inch blocks on the outside, and I just sat with square paper and coloured it in, and it was great. I had lots of fun designing this one. Even the corners, I knew I wanted flowers in each of the corners at each stage of the medallion, and I just love it. Yeah, there's a wee flower in there, there's a wee bud there in the first round. So I need to get this pattern all written up, I need to get it quilted, I need to get everything all ready for going back to classes. It's going to be all different because there's going to be certain changes that have to be made, but it'll just be so nice to sit in a room with like-minded people and hear them chatting and talking about their families and what they've been up to. And we did have some Zoom meetings at the beginning of this year, but it's nicer to see folk in person, isn't it? So that'll be really good. When I did make this a year and a half ago, I bought a couple of background fabrics. Not background fabrics, backing fabrics. So the first one I picked was this. These were auditioning for my background. I can't talk today. These were just, I was auditioning these for the back of my quilt. So that was one of them, which is a Lewis and Irene. And it's got lots of wee toadstools. And then I had bought this one as well, which reminds me of holidays, going to Amsterdam. You've got the windmills and the tulips and lots of wee field mice. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick to put on the back of my quilt. Hold it up and let you see the colours. That one's maybe a wee bit dark, but it won't matter if it's on the back. It'll be okay. And then there's that one there with the unicorns. I'll probably end up going with that one. You know what I'm like for a unicorn. I'm a sucker for a unicorn, aren't I? And a toadstool as well. So that's maybe what's going to be going on in the back of that. So I'll need to decide a backing fabric, get some wadding, get it all quilted. Really looking forward to going back. I've only got one other thing to show you that's sewn related before I finish up for today, and it's some wee bags that I've been making. Now they're quite small. They've got a boxy bottom, but I've been getting a wee bit carried away with this garden collection theme that I've been planning my socks on, because I've got spring garden ones that I'll be releasing soon, and I've also got summer garden, autumn garden and winter garden coming later on in the year. So thinking of garden themed bags has been on my mind quite a bit. So these ones, I really like this fabric. I'm going to keep one of these for myself. I've actually got one over there. It reminds me of Tale as Old as Time for Beauty and the Beast, this fabric. I really do like it. And it's just got the roses inside. It's just got some roses in there. And there's this one here. I've got a couple of these ones. These are all love hearts on the outside. Again, boxy bottoms, but it's got a white floral lining. And then there's the rose one. I think I'm going to have to keep one of these as well. Like, I need any more bags, really. Come on. But I've got a couple of these ones too with, let's get some green leaves on the inside. Again, boxy bottom. And it's just a wee drawstring cord. So they're not big. And usually when I make bags, they're quite structured. They'll stand up on their own. These ones, they will stand up. They're fine, they can stand up. But they're floppier, so you can stick them in your bag. Screw them up and get them in your handbag if you've got your sock projects with you. So these ones are in my shop just now. They're in my Etsy shop. And I've also made some DPN cozies to go along with them too. So there's the rose ones to match the rose bag. There's the wee love heart ones. And then there's the green one that matches. And the linings inside match the insides of the bags too. So if you like a matching set for things, you've got a wee matching set. But they're in my Etsy shop just now if anybody wants to go have a wee look. And what I might do is, see if you have a wee look and you favourite one of my bags, because I've got a few more to go on that I'm hoping to get on next week. See, the next time I'll pick the people that have favourited a bag and I'll maybe do a wee giveaway with it'll be the favourites on Etsy. So I can actually look through and I can see the names of people that have favourited things. So if you favourite something, I'll put you in a draw for a wee prize and you can maybe win a bag. And the only other thing I've got to do before I go is the little Snoopy bag giveaway. Now there were 6 comments for this and it was quite nice for me to read through the comments because I don't know anything about Snoopy. My husband's a Snoopy fan and he's been buying those books that have been released. I think they used to be published in a newspaper and every year they've put all the newspaper publications together and made a book. I think he's maybe on to about 10 or 11 books now he's got, and he's still got more to buy. Every birthday or Christmas he'll just say, get me another Snoopy book. So I've been asking him about the characters that you recommended. So I need to organise the prize, don't I? So 6 comments. See if I can see my phone. I'm like this. I got new glasses. I've got varifocals now. Because see, when I work with my distance vision's fine. Put my glasses on, distance is fine. But see, trying to read things, even if you're in a supermarket trying to read labels, I feel like you're like this under your glasses looking at things. And then if I put my contact lenses in, I need reading glasses or else I'm like this with my contacts in. So I've got new glasses, I've got varifocals and it stops me going like this all over the place trying to read what I'm... Because sometimes you forget whether you should be looking under your glasses, whether you've got reading glasses on, should you be looking over the top to watch TV. I feel like I'm like one of the wee dogs in the back of a car just nodding about all over the place. Anyway, I'm sidetracking again, aren't I? Right, random number generator, where are you? Right, put in a number between 1 and 6. Number 4. There we go. Can you see that? Number 4. And that is Ruth Loves to Knit. And she said Lucy was her favourite character. Girl power at its best is Lucy. So there you go, Ruth. Well done. I'll get that sent off to you, Ruth, if you let me know your address. And I think that really is all I've got to share with you today. I'm going to go tidy up this mess. I feel like I've just been throwing everything on the floor. And I'll try and get back quicker than 5 weeks. I'll try and make it 2 weeks. Get back and show you my next socks as well. Okay? Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye!